Hello students, today we are going to start a new chapter, that is reproduction in plants. It is a quite interesting chapter and I hope you all like to listen this session. Okay, so we'll start the introduction with plant parts. Hope you all know most plants have roots, stems, leaves, nodes, internodes, fruits, flowers, etc. So what are these? These are called the vegetative parts of a plant. So after certain period of growth of a plant, most plants will start to bear flowers. These flowers change into fruits which have seeds in them. You may have seen the mango trees flowering in spring because these flowers that give rise to juicy mango fruit we enjoy in summer season. What we will do? We will eat the fruit, we will taste the fruit and we will discard the seeds. And what happened to that seeds? That seeds will start to germinate and form new plants. So seed germination you have already learned in your class 5 and 6. Just recall it. So what is the function of flowers in plants? Flowers perform the function of reproduction in plants. Flowers are the reproductive parts of a plant. Reproduction in plants. What is reproduction? Reproduction is the process of producing young ones from their parents. So three methods are involved in reproduction in plants. So number one is asexual reproduction, number two vegetative reproduction, and number three sexual reproduction. In asexual reproduction, the new plants will develop without the help of seeds. As a result, the offsprings will be the exact copies of the parent. In vegetative reproduction, the new plants are produced from the vegetative part of the plant. So what are the vegetative parts? So they are roots, stems and leaves. So instead of reproductive organ, that is the flower, so the plant will start to produce the new plant with the help of root, leaves and stem. In sexual reproduction, the new plants will develop with the help of seeds. So these are the methods involved in reproduction in plants. So now we'll see the asexual reproduction. What is asexual reproduction? Formation of new plants from a single parent is called asexual reproduction. In plants, there are different types of asexual reproduction are present. That is budding, fragmentation, spore formation and vegetative reproduction. Vegetative reproduction is also called asexual reproduction. So in budding, a small projection called bud is formed on the yeast cell. A very good example for budding is yeast. The bud grows and becomes a new yeast cell. The new yeast cell also grows and produces more yeast cells. And again that new bud cell will start to produce a new yeast cell. So as a result, more and more new yeast cells were developed. So this process is called budding. In fragmentation, the plant breaks up into two or more fragments. And this each fragments grows into a new plant. Example, Spirogyra and Fucus. In spore formation, the fungus produces spores. The spores will germinate and produces new plants. Example, ferns, mosses and fungus. Vegetative reproduction. In this method, new plants are produced from the vegetative parts like the root, stem or leaves. It has two methods, natural method and artificial method. The natural method involves root, stems and leaves, whereas artificial method has cutting, grafting, layering and tissue culture method. So in the upcoming slides, we will be learning about natural method and artificial method in detail. Underground stem is one of the natural artificial method. So the specialized stem structure in which main axis grows horizontally just below the ground surface. It appears like segmented and is composed of nodes and internodes. See, you can see the segmented like structure on the surface of the ginger. The leaf-like sheath is attached at each node which enclose the stem, and just it expands to form foliage leaves. When leaves and sheath disintegrate, a scar is left at node and gives segmented appearance to rhizome. So this segmented appearance, again it will form a nodes and internodes and it will give rise to the new plant. So this process, this cycles will take place continuously. Example for underground stems are turmeric and ginger. Onion is also an example for underground stem. It has bulb. The bulb is the round, swollen part of the underground stem. Within the bulb lies the organ for vegetative propagation, such as the central shoot that grows into a new plant. Bulbs have a bud surrounded by layers of fleshy leaves. A few examples are onion, garlic, and tulips. So now we can find the stem tubers in plants like potatoes. This part is a swollen apical part containing many nodes or eyes. Every eye has buds. New plants originate from these buds. So each bud can grow into a new plant. New plants are also obtained from leaves. The leaf of a plant will detach, fall off, and start growing again as a separate plant. One of the best examples for leaf propagation is that of bryophyllum. The leaf of bryophyllum has many buds on its margin. These buds give rise to new plants. Artificial methods. As the name says, it is defined as genetically modifying and growing a plant inside a clinical setup. It means that the process and the test will be carried out inside the laboratories artificially. This procedure is possible in 4 different ways. That is cutting, grafting, layering, and tissue culture. So first we'll see the cutting technique. So here a part of the plant is cut and rooted in the soil, most commonly the leaf or stem. A new plant will develop from these cut roots, which is called the adventitious roots. Sometimes hormones, plant hormones are there, right? So they will use this plant hormones for the quick plant growth development. Example, we can say rose plant. And next technique is grafting. So it is also one of the artificial method. So here the part of the plant is cut and the another plant is attached and connected to the stem of the plant. The tissues of both the rooted plant and the graft get interlinked and produce a new plant variant. Example, apples and pears. The next technique is layering. The layer is the part that will produce new plants. This layer is formed when the plant's stem is bent downward and buried into the soil. The plant's shoot tip will be under the ground, that is, it is covering the soil, which helps in the growth of adventitious roots. And finally, it is forming the new plant species. Example, we can say honeysuckle, boxwood, bougainvillea, and many more are there. And the next technique is tissue culture. So when the natural conditions are not comfortable for a plant to grow, then this method is highly useful method. So with the help of a technician, the respective parts of a plant are segregated and cultured in a clinic, that is in the laboratory. So in this way, one can develop the rare and extinct cases of plant species effectively. So actually what they will do in the tissue culture method, so they will collect a piece of tissue from the tip of a plant and the cells are separated and kept in a nutrient medium under favorable conditions. The nutrient medium contains hormones that makes the cells to divide and form a group of cells. So roots are also start to develop. These are then kept in a different nutrient medium containing hormones that enable shoots to develop. And finally, a new plant species will start to grow. Example, we can say chrysanthemums, orchids, asparagus, and many more. Now we'll see the advantages and disadvantages of vegetative reproduction. In advantages, the first point is it is a faster and more certain method of propagation. So all the technique which involves in the natural method as well as the artificial method or a very faster method. It means that they will produce a new plant species in a faster way. The second point is the new individuals produced have exactly identical qualities as their parents. Because the vegetative reproduction is also known as what? It is an asexual reproduction. So obviously the offsprings will be the exact copies of the parent, right? Okay. So it preserves the characteristics of food and flower crops. And the third point is it can be used to reproduce plants that do not have viable seeds. If they do not have a particular seeds, we can grow a new plant species by using this technique. And the fourth point is the flowers produced are of a superior quality. And the fifth point is a certain desirable characteristics present in the fruit can be maintained. And in the disadvantages, the first point, it does not produce new varieties. Okay, it will produce a new plant species, but not that much of a different varieties. Only the less varieties it will produce. And the second point, it leads to overcrowding around the parent plant. And third point, very little possibility of dispersal. So these are the advantages and disadvantages of vegetative reproduction. Thank you, students. We'll meet you in the next session.